Blaze 101 webinar. Super excited to have you joining us for the next hour to learn a little bit about Blaze and how it can help your business. This is live, so would love for everybody to hop into the chat and say hello. Let us know where you're joining from around the world. Would also love to know a little bit about your business. What type of business do you have? We have all types of companies and entrepreneurs and freelancers, businesses of all sizes using Blaze. So it's really great to have a better understanding of who is joining us and what type of businesses are here. Welcome people from the UK, Denver, Ireland, Blaze. We're actually a remote team. We're going to be having our next company retreat in Denver in 2025. Welcome everybody. My coworker Eddie will be hopping into the chat pretty soon. He'll be answering questions throughout the presentation in the chat room. If I'm able to answer them as I'm kind of going through the presentation, I'll try and do that as well. And then the last 15 minutes or so, we'll save for a full Q&A. So if any people have other questions I'm not able to address during the presentation or want me to demo any specific things in Blaze, happy to do that at that time. We'll give people another minute or two to join, hop into the chat, say hello. Welcome everybody, super excited. As the screen shares, this webinar will be recorded. So if you have to leave at any point, no worries, the recording will be sent to everybody afterwards. Also would love to point people to our YouTube channel. We've got lots of tutorials on YouTube. So if you just search Blaze AI, you'll find our channel and you can see a bunch of tutorials there if you kind of prefer video format like this. Welcome everybody, South Africa, Ireland, South Florida, North Carolina, all around the world. So I think with that, we'll get started. For the agenda, first 5-7 minutes, I'm going to give you a little bit of background about Blaze, who we created it for, and what we kind of hear from people that they're trying to hope to accomplish with Blaze. And then after that, we'll hop into the demo. And that'll be about 30 minutes. And I'll walk you through how to create content in Blaze, how to customize it to match your brand voice and style. We'll get into editing content as well as scheduling, publishing, and then even organizing content too. So there's a lot that you can do in Blaze, from brainstorming to creating all the way to publishing and analyzing. So we'll get through all that. And then the last 15 minutes will be a full Q&A. So my name is Alan Castanelli. I'm on the marketing team here at Blaze. I'm based in Portland, Oregon. My background, I've been a marketer for over 15 years now. Worked in sports marketing and kind of at the start of my career, done a little bit of e-commerce, and then past 5 to 7 years have been in technology startups. And at Blaze, you can see we love our kind of pop culture, comic book branding. One of my favorites is Calvin and Hobbes. Love sharing that with my son. So what is Blaze? Blaze is a marketing AI tool to help you grow your business on the internet and grow it fast. And the primary way businesses are growing in 2024 and going into 2025 is through various forms of content, whether that's content for social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all the different channels out there. Content for your website, that might be landing pages, that might be your homepage, could be blog posts, or other forms of content on different channels. So whether that's email marketing, SMS marketing for your e-commerce shops, and even doing creating content in the form of advertisements. So your Facebook ads, Google ads, Pinterest, TikTok ads. And we want to help you create all that content and help you create it really fast. And who we created Blaze for is people that need to do marketing. So they need to create content, they need to grow their business. But a lot of times your titles might not be marketer. You might be an entrepreneur. You might be the small business owner. You might be a marketer, but you're a one-person marketer, maybe on a marketing agency, or you're just a solo marketer at a bigger company. So that's why we like to use the term teams of one, because regardless of these different kind of roles, people that have to create content, who have to do marketing at a team's level of work as a team of one, or solopreneur, if you will. And we want to create Blaze to make your life easier. The reason why we created Blaze is because it's never been easier to start a business, but it's never been harder to actually grow one. There's so many tools out there to help you get started and get your business off the ground. Whether if you know an e-commerce company, that's Shopify, tools like Shopify or Etsy. If you're wanting to create a website, it's tools like Webflow, Wix, or Squarespace. But really growing your business is the hard part. Getting attention in the market. There's so much noise. There's so much competition, and people competing for eyeballs on social media and your business. That is really where we find people struggle the most, and that's why we created Blaze. Because there's a lot of challenges that we hear from our customers as being a team of one, especially when it comes to content creation and marketing. That usually it can be pretty low on the totem pole of your responsibilities, because there's so much work to do. You have to not only brainstorm and plan out the content that you want to create, you have to go then and create it. And then you have to publish it and distribute it across all these different marketing channels. And it's not something that you can just do once, one time. You have to do it day over day, week over week, month over month. And it's more than what one person can actually do. And because of that, these are pretty common things that we hear when I talk to customers every single week, and they say, yeah, I've had a website. I've wanted to write a blog for the past 3 years, but I just haven't had the time to do it. And so with Blaze, they've actually been able to publish a blog post consistently because our tool makes it so much easier. But these might sound familiar to you. Your marketing doesn't get done, or it's on the bottom of the totem pole. And because of that, you're not able to spend that time to make it really high quality, so that it's, people are opening your emails, or the social media algorithms are picking up your content and showing it to more people. And because of that, you're missing the goals that you set for yourself, whether that's, social media followings, impressions, website visits, and ultimately the things that really matter are conversions and revenue. And one of the consistent things that I hear from our customers is that they know there's all these opportunities out there. They know they can reach their customers on social media, or they know their customers want to hear from them with like a weekly or monthly newsletter, or to publish that blog post, but they just don't have the time, knowledge, or experience to actually get that done. And because of this, they feel overwhelmed. They feel like their business is overlooked. And ultimately, they are stressed about having to consistently create content, and really have this kind of anxiety in the back of their head. This consistent thing that I've heard is like, I know I need to be doing this marketing. I know I need to create this content, but I don't have that time or the knowledge. If this resonates with you, would love for you to hop into. I thought I had a poll. Maybe the poll's not available. But if this resonates with you, please give me a thumbs up in the chat. And know that you are not alone. This can be a little bit of a group therapy session in the chat for other entrepreneurs and marketers and people who are trying to grow their business, to know that you are not alone. There's lots of people experiencing this. And that is ultimately why we created Blaze, because we want to help you feel like you have superpowers, to take you from Peter Parker and turn you into Spider-Man. And we believe that AI is that technology that has really democratized the ability for people to create content easily. It's not just the mega corporations that have billions of dollars and thousands of employees who can create all this amazing content. Now with the power of AI, you can create that content to support your small business, your one-person shop. And I'm going to show you how you can do that within Blaze. So at this point, I'm going to hop into our demo and start walking you through Blaze. All right, so first thing that I want to show you is our calendar view in Blaze, and ultimately what you can create in Blaze. With Blaze, you can plan out an entire week's of content just in 30 minutes to an hour. We even have customers who are creating content months in advance and planning it out in their calendar within Blaze. So you can see here, I've got a blog post that I've written, and then I've repurposed this blog post into other forms of content. So I created an Instagram account, or an Instagram piece of content, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram, you can see that this content is auto-scheduled because with Blaze, we integrate with those most popular social networks and publishing platforms like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram, so that you can publish your content directly from Blaze. So you don't have to piece together, 5 different tools. And I'll show you kind of the different ways that you can do that within Blaze, where you can, write a blog post, create a blog post and write it and edit within Blaze instead of using Google Docs. You can design Instagram content and put in, captions and put in text and images over the visuals. So instead of having to use Canva, you can do that right within Blaze, as well as publish to other tools like Facebook and Twitter. So you're not having to pay for, Hootsuite or Buffer or Sprout Social. You can do all that and you can plan it all in one place. Which is a pretty amazing tool to kind of do all this in one place. This is our week view of our content calendar. You can also view this in the month view. But then what you're looking at right here is a project, which you can also think of as a folder. So you can have multiple projects in your workspace. Those are going to show up in your navigation over here on the left. And a project you can look at in your calendar view, but you can also look at it in the table view. So you can see I've got all these pieces of content. We can see when it's scheduled, what marketing channel it's on, and then if it's, the status of it, if it's a draft or it's auto-scheduled. So now I'm going to walk you through creating content in Blaze. But before we start creating content, one of the most important things to do is to customize your workspace so that any content you create not only sounds like you, but looks like you. So to do that, we're going to go into Brand AI over here in the navigation. We've got a couple of different ways to customize that content. The first way that we're going to do that is a brand voice. So a brand voice customizes all the text-based content so that it sounds like you and your brand. And there's a couple ways to create one. So to create a new brand voice, we're going to click that button right here. The simplest way is to paste in your your homepage URL. If you don't have a website yet, you can paste in any text. So maybe you grab some content that you've written on social media or just in a document and paste that in here. And you can also upload a PDF file. But I'm going to grab IKEA's homepage as an example. So now Blaze is going to go to IKEA's homepage, analyze all the text on this, and then create a brand voice, which is basically a set of attributes of who they are communicating, what the goal is, and then the way that they talk. And this is one of the most popular features in Blaze because people really feel like it nails their brand voice. Talked to a customer last week who created some emails based off their brand voice, sent it to their husband and said, "Hey, what do you think of these emails? Does it sound okay?" And he said, "No, it sounds totally normal. It sounds just like you." She said, "I wrote that with the help of Blaze." And he couldn't even tell the difference. And so this is one of the primary ways that you can really differentiate your content from other people's content. A lot of people are using tools or start with AI using tools like ChatGPT and kind of feel like that it's a little bit robotic, a little bit kind of internet-y voice. So this is our answer to really making sure that content is customized. So you can see the purpose is promoting IKEA's products and services. The audience is general consumers. And you can see some attributes like the tone, emotion, character, and syntax. And all of this is customizable. So, inviting is a great thing, but if you didn't want to use simple language, you could remove that. You can really customize this so that it sounds like you and your brand. And within your workspace, depending on which plan you're on, you can have multiple brand voices. So you can see I've got a Blaze AI brand voice as well as my IKEA brand voice. And you can create brand voices in lots of different ways. You could create them for different marketing channels. So if you're creating Facebook ads, you might want to be more persuasive. But if you're writing, educational blog posts, you might want to use a different brand voice. So you can kind of experiment with different brand voices. And the next thing that we can do is add source materials. So source materials is information that you give Blaze about your business so that it can create more accurate and up-to-date information. So you can put in, your history of your business here. You could put in your product catalog. So for IKEA, we could upload, say, here's all IKEA's backpacks, so that when we start doing, Instagram posts about their backpacks, it can reference specific names, it can reference prices. So this is a really great way to customize the content. You can see I've got IKEA's family benefits in here, as well as their IKEA Foundation. It's really easy, similar to Brand Voices. You can link a website, paste in any text, or upload files. Next thing that we want to do is when we're designing content in Blaze is to make sure that that content, it matches the styles of our existing social media accounts. So we can do that with a brand style. So you can see I've got integrated Blaze with my Instagram account. And I'm going to create a brand style based off our Facebook page. So Blaze is going to look at our Facebook page, look at our profile and icon, look at the content that we're creating, and then create a brand style based off this feed. Right now, we just support Facebook and Instagram, but we're coming out with more integrations so that we can look at other accounts as well. So you can see it's grabbed our logo, it's grabbed some of our colors, as well as some fonts that closely resemble the fonts that we're already using. So this looks good to me. I'm going to create this, and then later when I go into our designer experience, I'll show you how we can apply this brand style to some of the templates that we have in Blaze, just to make it that much quicker and easier to create content that's on brand to you. So let's create some content. There's two ways to do that. You can go to our homepage and look at some of our most popular tools. You can search right here. You can also hit the Create New button here in the navigation and see all the different content creation wizards. So we create these wizards that walk you step by step through creating different forms of content to really make it simple for you to create a great, email, or create a great blog post, or even things like SMS messages. So instead of using a tool like ChatGPT, where you have to kind of really come up and prompt ChatGPT to say, how do I create a great, welcome series for my software tool? With Blaze, we've built that all into here, so you don't have to have this, a separate document to remember all these like complex prompts. We don't really think that entrepreneurs and small business owners need to be prompting experts. We take all of that and put that into our software just to make it super easy for you. So for this example, I'm going to show you how to create a blog post. So the first thing we're going to say is, what do we want to talk about? What do we want this blog post to be about? So for IKEA, let's do back to school supplies for first graders. This is kind of my initial kernel of a thought of what I want this blog post to be. And I can have Blaze generate more context for me. So it's going to take my one sentence prompt and improve that prompt into 3, 4, 5 sentences to kind of make that a richer substance for this blog post. So you can see it's done that. It's given me all this additional information, and I can always edit this and remove anything that I want. But for now, I'm going to keep that. And I'm going to fill in the rest of my prompt. So I'm going to call this my back to school blog post. And then I can save this content in my content calendar, but I'm going to create a different project just for my blog and put that right there. The goal of this blog post, we've got a couple different options here. I'm going to make this an informative one. The target audience is going to be moms and dads. The length, we're going to stick with 600, medium length, 600 words. And we're going to optimize for the SEO keyword back to school. So I'll show you later, we can do a check on our blog post to make sure how well it is optimized for SEO best practices. In our brand voice, we're going to use our IKEA brand voice. And then here's where you would pick those source materials if you want to apply those. All right, so we've got a few more options that you can add in if you want to add in specific call to actions or write as a specific persona. The one thing that I want to call out is that we can generate this content in different languages. So Blaze supports over 40 different languages and even variations of languages. So if you are in the UK, I think I saw somebody be in the UK, you can choose English UK, as well as all the different other languages. And if you want to see all the languages, you can go into our help center and search there. All right, the next step in our wizard, we're going to grab some images to include in our blog post. That is, kind of the best practice. People are very visual readers. So we're going to grab this image right here, and maybe this pencil one. And then Blaze right now is actually generating some AI generated images. So in a few seconds here, will show us these ones. And then, I like this one right here, but if we want to upload our own photos, we can do that. So we can add from another source. We can upload these ones. These images that it's selected are stock images that are royalty free. So you don't have to pay anything to use these in your marketing. Only stipulation is that you can't resell them. And then if you want to choose specific AI generated images and generate your own, you can do that as well. But I'm going to move on to our next step and generate titles. So with Blaze, we're going to give you multiple options. We got 5 options here for us to choose from. Back to school essentials, must have supplies for first graders. From backpacks to water bottles, top back to school picks for first graders. I like that one. And this is also editable too. You can always write your own. So the next step is to create our introduction and outline. So as you can see, we're kind of taking that initial kernel of an idea, putting in more information about who the audience is, what do we want to optimize this for, the images, and then this step is giving us an introduction as well as an outline. So we can really craft what that finished product is going to look like. And this is editable as well. So if we don't want to talk about lunch boxes and water bottles, we can remove that. Or, add in, another heading, something like that. But I'm going to keep this as is, and we're going to generate this post. Yeah, Joseph asks, can you generate or upload a bunch of images? Is there a library? Yes, you can. In our navigation over here, you have the uploads area. That is where you want to upload a bunch of images, and then you can easily insert those into the different forms of content that you want to do. So here you can see we've got our document. We are in our document editing experience. Within Blaze, we have 2 editing experience. For more text-based content like blog posts, emails, SMS, we have this doc editor. And then for more visual content, we have our designer. And I'll show you that in a few minutes when I design an Instagram post. But we've got our document editor here. We can see our content has been generated right in front of us. And this is a first-class document editing experience on par with a tool like Google Docs. So I can share this with other people. I can publish this document to the web. I can, give access to other people in my workspace, or even invite guests to this document. So I'm going to invite my coworker, Eddie, who is in the chat answering a bunch of questions. Check this out. And this is going to send an email to him, inviting him as a guest just to this document. You can see now he has access to this document. I could always change that access. Eddie's going to hop into this document here, and then we could collaborate on this document at the same time. You can see his little avatar is up here, and Eddie is making edits. We can both be making edits at the exact same time. It is a real-time document editor. We can collaborate on this as well. If we go to our collaboration sidebar, we can create comments. We can assign each other's tasks. We can even track changes and do all the things that you would expect from kind of a first-class document editor. We've got over 100 different fonts. And you can add in other elements like tables, embed YouTube videos, add in images, stuff like that. You can see Eddie left me a comment here. I can react to it, give him a thumbs up. I could, create a thread of replies and do all that type of content, all that collaboration, excuse me. But let's say, Blaze has created a really great first draft, but we want to keep editing this using AI to edit it. So with a doc editor, you can edit yourself, but you can also select any text and ask Blaze to edit that content. So I can say, can you change the length, make this shorter or longer? We want to change the tone. So if we have multiple brand voices, we can do that and change how much the revisions are. We can also just, kind of chat with it. So, write this in more plain language. And it's going to give me an alternate option right here that I can choose to, just add in below or fully replace it. So I can just replace that. I can also work on the document as well. So if I want to add in another section, I can say, hey, write in, add another section on this topic. Or, maybe I didn't love my headline idea. Give me five more headline ideas. And it's going to add those down here at the bottom. So you can see I've got my 5 more headline ideas. So you can keep editing the content and really working with, either your own edits as well as AI edits just to speed up that process. Other things I want to call out in our document editing experience, I mentioned SEO analysis. So we can check our keyword back to school and analyze this. And we can look at the SEO best practices. So it's got the key phrase in the introduction, the length is good, the density is good. Maybe we could add it into some more subheadings and add some outbound links. The other thing that we can do is check the readability. A lot of green check marks here, maybe improve our transition words and improve the difficulty of it reading. The other thing that you can do is check for plagiarism. So make sure that Blaze has not plagiarized any content from anywhere else on the internet. If you are using a brand voice or using things like source materials, most likely you're not going to run into plagiarism. But for some specific industries, you really want to be checking that. Financial is one that has come up a few times where they want to make sure that they're not grabbing content from other places. All right. And so this is our blog post. And let's talk about integrations now. I think I saw some questions in the chat about integrations. So you can see right here, I don't have my WordPress account connected, but if I did, I could schedule this content to be published automatically to my WordPress blog posts. And the integrations, in order to find those, go into our navigation, and you can see all the ones that we have currently integrations with. X, also known as Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook, and then WordPress I don't have connected, and then Zapier. Zapier is kind of a connector tool for things that we don't have integrations with quite yet or are not planning to build. So if you wanted to create some emails within Blaze, you can create those emails, zap those from Blaze to your email service provider like MailChimp, Klaviyo, ActiveCampaign, those other tools. And some of the integrations that we have on the roadmap right now, TikTok is the next one. We are just waiting for approval from them. So that is coming really soon. Other ones that are coming soon in terms of publishing are Webflow, Squarespace, and Wix. And then other integrations that we are really built depending on customer feedback. So I saw somebody in the chat as asking for HubSpot. That is a perfect thing to request to our team. And then if we are getting tons of people requesting HubSpot integrations, we will build that. That is how we prioritize the ones that we've already built and the ones that are in the pipeline. Shopify is another one that is coming soon. We've heard that as well. So that one is on our radar. So the best way to request those is to go into our navigation right here and go to Help and Learn Blaze. And that's going to pop open our support channel where you can search our help docs and then you can send our support team a message. This is where you're going to put in those feature requests. So Shopify, HubSpot, other ones we've heard is like Google My Business. I think Pinterest is one as well. So that's where you're going to want to request those integrations. Yes, Brian asks, can I copy and paste this to my Shopify blog in the meantime? Yes. we've got this convenient button right here, which will copy all the text to your clipboard, and then you can paste that into your Shopify blog. If you are also using Zapier, that is another way to zap this blog post content from Blaze to Zapier and then into your Shopify blog. All right. The next thing that I want to show you is repurposing content. So we've got our great blog posts here, and this we can kind of consider our anchor piece of content that we want to publish this week, but we want to turn this into other forms of content. So to do that, we're going to click this turn into button on the right-hand sidebar and choose multiple pieces of content. So now we're going to turn this blog post into a Facebook post, a Instagram Square post. We'll do some Twitter threads, maybe like a LinkedIn visual post, do a TikTok script off of this, as well as maybe some emails. So like a newsletter, a promotional email, and an SMS message. And really you can just pick and choose as many as you want. But we're going to confirm our details. Blaze is going to automatically name our campaign for us. We're going to put this in our blog project, and it's going to use our IKEA brand voice. So let's generate this content. And now you can see we've got our blog project over here in the navigation, and our content is going to start being generated. Let me take a sip of water. Yeah, Wendy asked a great question in the chat. What is the difference between a text post versus a visual post? And the difference is the two editing experiences that you have in Blaze. So a more text-based post is going to take you into that document editor experience where you have all the freedom to do all that writing. You can still add in images and videos and schedule those posts from the document editor. It's just a different editing experience. The visual post is going to take you to our designer editing experience, which is more similar to a Canva-like experience if you use Canva. And I'll show that in just a few minutes. So now you can see we've got our blog, but we don't have any of this content scheduled out. So and that's why it's this unplanned section over here. So now I can drag and drop this content onto my calendar. Say we're going to do our back to school blog. I don't have it integrated with WordPress, so I'm going to just keep this as a draft. But then I'm going to grab my Facebook visual post and put that on Tuesday. I can even schedule the post time of when I want this to be published automatically. I'm just going to keep this as a draft because I want to look at the content before I actually schedule this out. And I can just drag and drop all this content or leave some of it unscheduled if I don't know when I really want to publish that content. So let's go into, let's see what content we have here. So this is our Facebook posts. So this is the text version of publishing to Facebook from this kind of document editing experience. So you can see we've given you 6 different ideas as well as some hashtag and some image options. And then we've got our actual scheduling experience right here at the top, where this is the text that's actually going to be published. Here's the images or videos that we're going to add. Here's the account that we're publishing from. And then now I can choose this and say, yes, this looks good. Let's publish this at 3:45 in the afternoon and schedule that post. And you can now see that this content has been auto-scheduled. I can always change that date and make some cancellations here. But now let's go into that visual editing experience so you can see that. So I'm going to create an Instagram post. So we're going to go create new in Instagram. And here we're going to look at all the different templates we have. You can always skip this option and just go to a blank version, but we've got over 500 professionally designed templates to really make it faster to create really great content. We have all these different categories from e-commerce to events, greetings. We even do kind of some seasonal ones like Halloween. We'll get our, Christmas and Hanukkah ones getting in here pretty soon too. Real estate, all different categories here. Yeah, Thanksgiving this week. That's can set your Thanksgiving menu right here. But I'm just going to choose this one right here. I like that pink one. And then we're going to take that template and restyle it in my brand style that we created back in our brand AI page. And then we're going to write the caption for this. And since this one, we're going to be publishing to my personal Instagram account, we're going to have this be about Blaze. I'm going to say, actually, you know what? Let's be it about our Black Friday deal. Blaze's Black Friday sale. Get 5 months free on annual plans. All right, we're going to create that in our Blaze AI voice, and we're going to call this Black Friday. And then let's create this in a new project too. Let's do this, our sales project. So now we're going to generate our design. While this is going, I'll answer some more questions in the chat. Kimberly asks, is this being recorded? Yes, you'll get the recording right, well, as soon as it's uploaded right after our webinar is finished. And then Sean asked, can you direct link content from Pictory? We do not have an integration with Pictory, so that is something that you would have to download from Pictory. I'm not super familiar with it. And then upload that into Blaze. Or request an integration. So go into, we also have this chat here and request that integration here. Ronnie asked about HeyGen avatars. We don't have an integration with HeyGen, so that's another one that you would want to request. But with HeyGen, you could generate those videos and then download them and then add them into Blaze. You can see here we've got a video in the background that's just kind of looping. We could delete this video and put in like a different image here. But let me show you our designer experience. So here we've got our content, and you can see that not only has Blaze, when we applied that brand style, it's applied those colors and fonts to our image, but it's also edited the text that's in the template to be about the prompt that we give it. So Blaze sale, we're going to say, Black Friday right here. You can see all the text options we have. We can change the different fonts, change the alignments, colors, even add things like borders, opacities, as well as change the order. So if we, let me click out here, put this, and I can right click and change the layering, bring this forward, send this backward, and do that. And then you can always change the layers over here on the right-hand side too. Other things that you can add to your design, so we can add in some elements. So if we want to put in this shape, put this, and we're going to put this right here. We're going to do black, and then we're going to change the layering, send that backwards, send it back. There we go. And then we're going to change this color to, white. So that really pops right there. Other things that you can add in is any forms of media. So you can upload any images or videos, as well as generate AI-generated images right here. So we could generate an AI-generated image for Black Friday if we wanted, or grab ones from our media library, or look at those stock videos or stock photos. And you can even search these stock photographies. Let's see what they have for Black Friday. And then, yeah, we can drop in this image right here and quickly, kind of resize that. Maybe we'll get rid of this text down here. That looks pretty good. If you ever want to change out your template, you can always go into your templates and pick a new one, as well as change out the background. So I think right now we've got this like yellow color. We could change that color to orange or kind of cool gradient. And then with we have got our brand style section. So you can quickly change out or try out different brand styles based off the colors and fonts. So if we click this button and kind of quickly rotate through different options to just kind of try those out, and then add in our logo, so that people know it is Blaze's Black Friday. We can put that right there. And we also have our AI generated images, or our captions, excuse me. You can have, we've got your multiple options over here that is all editable. You can always write your own and edit those. And then if you're wanting to have, multiple, this is for Instagram content, to add multiple images or videos. So you can have the kind of, forget what they call those, a swipe experience. You can add another one so that second experience is right here. Just remove that. All right, and then when we're ready to publish this content, we can, since we're integrated with Instagram, we can post this now. For content that doesn't have an integration, you can always copy the text or download that media. You can download to your desktop. We're also coming out with an iOS pretty soon, an iOS app pretty soon, to be able to download that content directly to your phone if you're wanting to publish that manually. Rebecca asked, can you upload custom fonts? That is a great question. I don't remember on our text if we have custom fonts. Oh, upload your own right there. And then Wendy asked, can Blaze remove backgrounds from images? Yes, we can. So if you are uploading a photo, I don't think we can do this on stock photography, but if you upload an asset, if I go to media and then upload it, there will be an option on the right-hand side. Let me actually put that in here. And then, no, I don't think you're able to do that on stock photography, but if you're uploading your own like e-commerce photos, you'll be able to remove those backgrounds. But let me show you that publishing experience. So if I click publish, I'm going to post now, and we can see our content is right here. We've got our caption. I can choose my account. So if I wanted to choose my other demo account, I could schedule this for Thursday and schedule out that content. And then always change that date or unschedule it if I need to. Okay. Mildred asks, okay, can we still use the schedule even if there's no integration, or are you saying we have to download first and upload your own? So if we don't have an integration, you will not be able to schedule that content from Blaze. The integration experience, if I go into integrations, you're going to have to pick which accounts you are integrated with. But you can, even if we don't have an integration, you can still design your content here and download this media to your desktop, and then manually go into Twitter or Instagram and download that content, or post that content. Wendy asked a great question. Can you post the same image on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at the same time, or does each have to be posted separately? So the way that we handle that in Blaze is that each piece of content is like a file within your workspace. So in order to post to different social networks, you're going to have to make duplicate versions or cross posts from this experience. So if you go to the right click here and make a copy, you can do that if you're wanting to post this to another Instagram account. If we go back to our blog experience, or our blog post, let's grab this Facebook post. You can quickly duplicate a piece of content into other formats. So you can see this is Facebook by clicking cross post right here. So what we're going to do is essentially create a copy of all this exact content, but create it for LinkedIn, and then we can post that to LinkedIn. So that is how you take one piece of content and then choose to post that to other social platforms. We do this really because we want you to give you the ability to not choose which accounts you're posting to, as well as the ability to customize that content. So some, Twitter, you can only have 240 characters. With LinkedIn, you can have, I think it's 3,000 characters. So maybe you're wanting to write more content on your LinkedIn posts. We kind of give you that functionality. Yeah, which integrations we have. So if we go to integrations, we have X, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook in terms of social networks. and then WordPress for publishing blog posts. And then Zapier is kind of a free for all. Zapier can connect over 3,000 different tools. And then ones that are coming soon is TikTok, Shopify, Squarespace, and Wix are ones that at least I know of that are on the roadmap that are actively being developed. All right, before we get into full Q&A, a couple last things that I want to show you is from our homepage. One of the cool things that you can do is, you saw how I turned a blog post into multiple forms of content. You can also do that with uploaded content. So you can upload, oops, click the wrong button here. You can upload audio files or video files to Blaze. So like if you've got a podcast as part of your marketing mix, you can upload your MP3 files into Blaze. Blaze will create a transcript of that podcast episode, and then you can repurpose that podcast into a blog post, into an email newsletter, into social media posts. So that's a great way to repurpose content that you're already creating. Maybe you're creating a bunch of TikTok content. You can download those videos and then upload that into Blaze and repurpose that into Twitter posts, Facebook posts, SMS messages. You can even do that with web pages. So you can grab any web page that's public to the internet and repurpose that content into other formats. So I talked to a customer last week who was taking their landing page, paste in their landing page and say, hey, I need to write a newsletter this week. Can we write it about this product? And so they took the web page, put it into Blaze, and then repurposed that into a newsletter. So really great way to get more value out of the content that you already are creating or already have kind of in your ecosystem, whether that's your email newsletter, your website, your social media accounts, other content, your video, audio that you're creating. So the last thing that I want to show you before we hop into the Q&A is our analytics. So our analytics is frankly a work in progress. We just added these in a few weeks ago. So right now we are pulling analytics on your account. And so you can see how your account is growing, whether that's your followers, impressions, and reach. And then we can choose which account you're looking at here. And then coming soon, we're going to be giving you analytics on the content that you are publishing from Blaze. So as you're creating content in Blaze, you're publishing it out to all these social networks. We're going to give you the analytics on how well that content is performing. And then you can take the best performing content and then repurpose it into other formats. So it'll be a great kind of full circle movement of brainstorming content in Blaze, creating it, editing it, publishing, analyzing, taking the best step, and do that whole circle again. All right. The last thing that I want to talk about before we hop into Q&A, I think I've already said that twice, is our referral program. So if you go into your navigation, we've got our refer and earn button. So if you are try out Blaze, we've got a 7-day free trial for you to try it out, and you are loving it and want to share it with other people in your network, whether that's friends, family, other people on your, maybe you're in some entrepreneur groups or LinkedIn groups, networking, in-person networking thing, you can copy and share your personalized URL. If you share that with them, they will get a free month of Blaze to try it out. And then if they become a paying user of Blaze, you will also get a free month of Blaze. So this is a great way to offset the cost of Blaze, that you can share that out with anybody and everybody. We've got people who, who have done their own personal webinars, just like this one, for their entrepreneur groups that they're in, and they share out their URL at the end, and then they get 12 free months of Blaze, which is pretty cool. So a great way to offset the cost of Blaze and share that out. All right. At this point, we got about 10 minutes left in our webinar. So let's hop into a full Q&A. If there are questions that I have not been able to answer yet, I know Eddie, my coworker Eddie, had to leave, and you asked them in the chat, but it didn't get answered. Paste that in the chat again, so I can take a look. But yeah, happy to answer any questions that people have. I know Eddie mentioned our Black Friday deal. I believe that it just went live this morning. So our Black Friday deal, which is starting today and going through Monday, is 5 months free on our annual plan. So that comes out to, I think it's like 41 or 42% off our annual plan. So it's a great experience. Basically, you have the next 7 days to sign up for Blaze, do your free trial, see if it's going to be something that's going to work for you and your business. And then if you want to take advantage of that annual subscription, you get a huge discount on it for the next 7 days. Yes, that does apply to everybody who's on the free trial. There is no coupon code or promo code or anything like that. How you're going to take advantage of that is go in your navigation and to subscription. So you can look at your billing details. You can see I'm on a creator plan right now and manage the subscription. I probably need to refresh my browser here because it probably just got pushed live. Oh, it looks like we need to improve some of these things here, but here is where you're going to upgrade to like an annual plan. So if I go to upgrade, and you're going to get that discount. And that's automatically applied, no promo code needed. Yes. All right. So other questions. Kimberly asked, does it need to be a business account in order to do the publishing? Yes, that is a stipulation that Meta, which is the parent owner of Facebook and Instagram and other tools like Twitter, require you to be business accounts. And that account has to be part of like a business portfolio, which is like a Facebook term, in order to use their APIs, which allows us to schedule and publish for you. So it does need to be part of that business account. So in order to do that, if you go into our Help Center, just let me share this tab here, and you go into our integrations, we've got step-by-step process. So to really walk you through, because we've got a video as well as some of the help pages that Meta has on turning your Facebook page or adding it to a business portfolio. There can be some kind of tricky parts to do that. So check out this Help Center document if you are having any issues. You can also message our support team and they can help you out as well. Yeah, so Joseph asks, how do I generate a bunch of AI generated images at once? So let me go back into Blaze. I personally have not created a ton of AI images, but so what you're going to do, this is the uploads section. So you can see I've uploaded my logo quite a few times in this demo experience. But for those AI images, probably what you're going to want to do is create a new file and go to design. And then you're going to have to pick your format of like what size AI generated image you want. So like Instagram Square, we'll just call this AI generated image and create that design. So it's just going to give me a blank one here. And then here I'm going to go to media and then add my AI generated image. So here, let's do, Black Friday sale, see what it gives us. Let's do a photo and Square. Take about 30 seconds here and generate our image. So Joseph, this is the kind of best way to do that. I think it's probably not the best experience that we have for generate bulk AI generated images. The way that we have kind of set up Blaze is that you are creating images for a specific purpose. So we don't really have just like, bulk, just like generate. So here's our image. If we want to try again, we can do that. Fred asked a great question. Can you create videos? So right now, Blaze supports adding or uploading videos, but we do not have AI generated videos in Blaze quite yet. So video creation and editing is probably the number one feature that we have heard from our customers so far. And that is on our roadmap of something to build. So I can tell you, we have engineers that are working on it right now. Probably is not something that's going to happen until Q1 of next year is kind of my best guess of when that will be coming into Blaze. Yeah, Joseph asks, he's talking about trying to make images for 30 days of posts. So one thing that you can do is our multiple post wizards. So I showed you how to create one blog post or one Instagram post. You can create multiple Instagram posts around a specific topic and schedule those out. And then you're going to have to go into each of those posts and then generate that AI generated image. We don't really have a bulk AI generated image process right now. But if that's something that you want to see, like I mentioned before, message our support team and request that feature. And if we hear lots of people wanting that, we will definitely build that. Okay, Joseph asked about like motion images, or I think those are kind of like looping videos. So you can upload those into your workspace and then insert those into your images. So if we go back to, I think we put that in our sales, in our Black Friday. So right now we have an image, but if we go into media, we can, upload a video or add in this, stock video right here. And you can put those in Blaze. But right now we don't have the ability to create those videos. Yeah, those templates that have motion, those are video files that are just looping. So those are the stock videos that you see right here. So you could search the available ones that we have, or upload your own. Wendy asks, what a multi-channel campaign is. So a multi-channel campaign is basically the way that we think of campaigns is a bunch of content around one kind of topic or idea. So for the Black Friday is a great example where we're going to do a multi-channel campaign, just multi-channel meaning we're publishing content about this idea on different marketing channels. So we are going to create an Instagram post. We are going to send an email to our newsletter. We're going to create some Facebook ads, and it's all around one idea. So the reason why we call multi-channel campaign, if we go back into our blog and then we look at this from a table view, we kind of say that all of this content is around one idea, so one campaign. So as you're adding more and more content into your workspace, we want to give you the ability to, sort this or hide this or change. I think we can filter. We can filter just to this specific campaign. So it's a way of just kind of like organizing your content within your workspace. Good. Glad that helped. Got 2 minutes left. I will say if this recording, if you haven't been able to watch the whole thing, will be sent to everybody afterwards. We also have tutorials on our YouTube channel. And then as always, you can message our support team if you have specific questions. Mildred asked the difference between repurpose.io. I'm not familiar with that platform, so I can't really give a great comparison to that one. But in terms of what Blaze is, we think of Blaze as combining multiple tools that are kind of in your workflow. So document editing, you might be using Google Docs. Designing, you might be using Canva, ChatGPT. You can now use Blaze to kind of take over all these different disparate tools that you're probably paying, $20 to $50, maybe even $90 a month, and bring them all into one tool that can really solve your entire workflow to really make it easy to consolidate all your content creation and editing and posting all in one place. Yes, Wendy, you can switch up and down between different packages and you'll be like prorated. depending if you're finding out that you're needing more features on the different packages or if you're downgrading and don't need them. Yes, and if you have any issues with that, make sure to message our support team. We're always happy to help you out. If you find the 7-day free trial is not long enough and need another 7 days, send our support team a message. They will help you out with that, or any like billing issues, stuff like that. We are very consumer friendly, don't want to take advantage of anybody. So we do lots of refunds if you accidentally get charged or anything like that. Brian asked, does Blaze have the ability to tag products on your social pages? No, we don't have that ability. I don't believe that Instagram gives us that ability in the API, or at least to my knowledge, we don't have that. So that is something that you would have to go back once the content is published to edit that. And with Blaze, we do send you an email notification that your scheduled content has been published. That is an email you can turn off if you find it annoying, but some people really like it to say, hey, they like that confirmation. My scheduled Instagram post was published. Now I can click on the link, go to that Instagram post, and then edit it and add in any tags or anything like that. All right, we are over time. Thank you, everybody, for attending this Blaze 101 webinar. Love all the questions. Love all the interaction. Hopefully, this has been a helpful experience for you. Really encourage you to take advantage of our 7-day free trial. Go to blaze.ai and sign up. If this has been helpful to you, please give me a thumbs up in the chat or wave or anything like that. Thank you for all the great comments. Love all the questions. Happy to have been helpful to you. So excited to see you all in Blaze, see what you can create. And I hope everybody has a great rest of your week. Hopefully, if you're doing a Black Friday promotion, it's a successful week for all those e-commerce businesses out there, and encourage you to take advantage of our Black Friday deal as well. So hope everybody has a great day. Thanks, and we'll see you in Blaze.